I'm Natasha Suave. Pretty soon I will be joined by Peggy Yates from the Education Department, and we are going to be here to talk to you about psychology and education today. We will answer any of the questions that you have and see what we can say about it, see what information we can go out and give you. So I'm waving to all of you, if you can actually see me waving. I've never done this Instagram thing before, so bear with me on this one, because we're gonna make it work. So, in terms of the psychology department, I will give you a little bit of an overview of this department. So, in terms of psychology, we typically have a relatively smaller major. We have about 9 classes that you need to take, and it's a variety of courses. So we typically get you into intro, and then you can join really anything outside of that. Hi, Biggie.
Hi, Tasha.
Oh, good. I can hear you, and then hopefully everyone will be able to. No, I was just giving a brief overview of psychology. If you want to give a brief overview of education, we can get started and see what questions you guys might have.
Sure. I see lots of people are joining. We are delighted to be with you this afternoon to talk to you about psychology and education. So I'm going to answer any questions that you might have about education. I am special education professor at Alma College, so I'm happy to entertain any of those questions as well. I see lots of people joining. Hi, Amanda. So send out, oh, thanks, McKinley.
Well, thank you, McKinley.
We love you too. Send lots of love our way. So, you know, one of the things that we have been really proud of, Natasha, Dr. Suave, is that we have really worked together jointly to put together what we call the special ed minor too. So we can talk about that today, so that for those of you who are interested in working with kids in the area of psychology and are wanting to know about special education, we are glad to entertain those questions as well. I believe that Jen Brandt and Stephanie Davis are also going to join us, so I imagine that they're going to be requesting to join at any point now. Do you see those requests on your end, Natasha?
Let me see. I can't see anything right now, but I'll keep checking.
All right, so I missed the first couple of seconds coming in. So had you talked about your background at all?
I have not, actually.
Well, why don't we talk about who you are, and then we'll go talk about our programs. Okay.
To give you a little bit of background, this is the end of my 4th year here. I am an assistant professor in psychology. I am the neuroscience person, and I study drugs of abuse. So I study why people are addicted, how to treat addiction, things of that sort. So I'm more of the brain person. Psychology, we have a variety of different people. I am originally from Minnesota, so if you hear my terrible accent, that's why. So Peggy can't mock me for that. Sorry.
I sure can. But and I enjoy mocking you for that.
Everyone does. It's a very great accent. So give a little bit of background on yourself.
Well, I was a special ed teacher for 25 years. And so I'm actually retired from public education, and I have been at Alma College now. This is my 5th year of full-time. We have about 40 special ed majors, or students who are going in to be special ed teachers in our program. So we're really proud of that. The program can be finished in about 4.5 years, sometimes 5, depending on how long the candidate wants to take and how many summer classes might be taken. Or lots of times our students they're athletes, and so they're wanting to play 4 years of their sports and then go into that 5th year with a full year of student teaching if they're a special education major. If they're elementary or secondary, then it's just a half a year of special education student teaching. And I know that we have Stephanie Davis and Jen Brandt on standby, and I see the message from Amanda Solinsky that I think only one of us can join at a time. And so at some point, Natasha, I'll have you stay on since you're doing the master account, and then we'll let each one of those come in. And Jen, if you want to talk about psychology and then your special ed minor, and then Stephanie, if you want to talk about elementary and special education, that would be completely amazing. As we are going through and talking about ourselves, if you have questions that you might want answered, please post them and we will read them and we will get to you. So
We have a couple of them if we want to go through. Amanda
Okay.
asked us, what is our favorite part about working at Alma? I must say that the reason I came here was because I wanted to get to know my students. I
Yeah.
came from a very small department as an undergraduate. I knew my professors. I still talk to my professor, one of my undergraduate advisors today. Poor Dr. Deo is probably really sick of me at this point. But I wanted that relationship with my students. I wanted that one-on-one contact. I wanted to know who my students were, understand and watch them grow throughout the years. So understand a lot about them. And so the reason I came here is because I wanted that personal contact. I wanted to know what their careers were and then help them get to where they wanted to be, just like my undergraduate advisor did. How about
You
you,
know, and
Bibby?
I have, it's the interaction with the students that brought me here and keeps me here. And, on top of that, the fact that, I mean, we call ourselves a special ed family in regards to the number of people that we work with, because I teach the entire program. We have an adjunct that comes in and helps teaches the seminar class, but I work with these students from the day that they come to campus all the way through their student teaching. And what we have really created is a family, because special education, it can be a really tough job, but we learn to kind of support each other. And then, this is not just about special education. With elementary, all five of us, the faculty members of the education department, not only are we all friends, we work to make sure that our kids are successful in the program all the way through their student teaching. And I am proud to be a member of that department, because we support each other and we support our students. But, Natasha, one of my favorite things about us here at Alma is probably one of your favorite things too, and that is that we actually got to create our own spring terms.
Yeah, it's a really good point. So they were just Lenny was just hi. By the way, I haven't. It's nice to actually get to see and interact with my students who I haven't seen in a while. So
Yeah,
I
we
get to
miss
see
them.
everyone. They're asking about study abroad opportunities and things of that sort. So we talking about our spring terms. Well, there are study abroad opportunities. I have a lot of students who are studying abroad. For example, in Scotland, getting some kind of background there. We also teach spring terms in various places. So I know you've gone to Disney World or
Yay!
Land.
I was gonna wear my ears, but I thought that might be a little bit over the top.
You should have. It
So
would have
yeah,
been
we
great.
yeah, they're upstairs. In fact, Stephanie, go get your ears. John, you too, go get your ears. Let's see them. Some support for our Disney friends. But no, my class that I teach for spring term is called Teacher Leader, and what we do is we discover what it is to be a leader in the field of education, and then we go and we attend seminars at Epcot on leadership and teamwork and how to get along in the field. And then we change gears a little bit and we talk about universal design for learning, and we discover how does Disney put together the sensory experiences that kids enjoy so much, and how do they make us feel so welcome, and how can we take those ideas and principles and put them into classrooms so that we are serving children of the 21st century. And we took 20 kids down. I plan on doing the trip again next spring. It was amazing. It was an amazing trip, but it's one of the reasons why I love Alma the way that I do, because not only do I get to teach these amazing kids who want to go into education and be teachers, I really get to know them. I know their backgrounds. I hosted dinner at my house. Steph, who's going to come on, she and I run 5Ks together, and well, she kicked my butt. But, we really get to know our kids. And then the college gives us the opportunity to teach a class where we can travel with those kids. And, I think almost all but one of mine used their venture grant on their trip to Disney, which totally paid for that opportunity. They had to pay for the credits for the class, so it wasn't a free experience, but the travel that Alma College provides for its students, we really believe that experiential learning is the key to making sure that our kids are successful. And I'm proud to say that most students that enter the education program, they stay. They're coming in as 18-year-olds and they're leaving as these young men and women who are ready and prepared to lead the next generation of students. And the fact that I get to be involved in that, I'll stay for as long as Emma will keep me. I mean, it's an amazing experience. And I think, like you, Natasha, I really, really miss my kids. But I think you've done the same thing that I've done, and that is you've stayed with the schedule and you're meeting with the students. I have class from 7 to 10 tonight. I've actually set up a studio in my garage with a green screen, So I'm projecting the actual campus backgrounds
Oh,
behind
that's
me, and
adorable.
I wore a coat, so they thought that because they thought I was outside, and so we're having a blast. Really staying connected, and I think that's really important in this time. But it's also proof of, I mean, it's not just me. We're all going the extra mile to make sure that our kids are successful during this complicated time in the world.
Mhm. Completely agree. I just wanted to touch on some study abroad in psychology as well. Uh, we have a trip to Germany that is a history of psychology course that is offered every 2 years. And we were going to go to New Zealand this year for an environmental psychology course, which, due to obvious reasons, is no longer happening this year, but it is being postponed to next year. So we do all sorts of different activities similar to education. We try to make the most of it to have students be able to use those venture funds, travel abroad, and experience the world in a completely unique, different way. So.
Yeah, and it's not just us. These are not just the only trips that are offered. It is all over the world that you have that opportunity. I see Danielle just came in, Demouy, and I believe that you are from Goodrich, and you are coming in as an education major. Welcome, Danielle. I think I met with you on campus visits. So, Natasha, do you see other questions coming in?
I saw one about a liberal arts education and how that could potentially benefit students' interest in education or psychology. And I'll give you a little bit of background in terms of that. Psychology is a very broad field. We have people who have graduated and have gone on to be dolphin trainers, who go to work in HR, who work with children with autism. We have students go to a variety of different fields, and having that kind of background, the ability to understand things from multiple perspectives is incredibly important. We want to understand, so for example, addiction. We want to understand addiction from all of these different perspectives. So from the person suffering it to somebody who's trying to help treat it, either a medical professional or a psychologist. You need all of the different aspects to understand this disease. So being able to have the liberal arts education of Alma, have that experience, and then go out into the workforce after that, it is invaluable in my opinion. Do you believe the same thing in terms of education?
Absolutely. You know, in regards to getting that liberal arts education, it's really important that our kids are going in to be the next generation of teachers, and they have that well-rounded experience, so that when a child comes in and says, "Can you help me with this?" or "Can you help me with that?" that they have actually experience. They haven't just focused on one area. They have a broad experience that they can actually guide kids into post-secondary education, because they know enough about the world and their place in it and the content of the different areas that we have really prepared them at Alma to guide the next generation. Like we want to build teacher leaders in our program, so that we can continue to improve education. And I don't know how to do that without a liberal arts background. But you know, I'm alumni. I actually went to Alma class of '92. I was an Alma College cheerleader, and I was in Dr. Nichols' choir. Although
I didn't know you were a cheerleader. That's amazing. I'm
I
learning
was,
something new
and that's
every.
one of the reasons why I am the fan for the cheer team. So then I go as much as I can to their practices and events, and take snacks and so forth, and really support them. But you know what? That just uncovers just another layer of who we are as Alma. And again, that's not just you and me. It is, we show up for our kids' sporting events. We understand that these children who come to Alma, students who come to Alma, are choosing a residential school and Division III sports for a reason. And they're not going to just be supported by their coaches. They're going to be supported by the faculty as well. And I love to go. They got let me be on the top of a mount too. So yeah. And then I felt like I needed to go run like 16 miles and say I'm sorry. But you know, nonetheless, it was a lot of fun. And you know, Michelle Sabrin is an outstanding coach, and does an amazing job with that cheer team. So,
So we're getting a
all
lot of
right, I see
questions
a
about,
question. Yes.
oh yeah, about double majoring in general and then double majoring in psychology and special ed. I know in psychology it's
Please.
really easy to double major. We have a ton of people who do it because our major is relatively small. Um, education, we have a special education minor that Peggy was mentioning earlier that deals with kind of both of the aspects. We have a lot of students who are really interested in being like a school psychologist or an educational psychologist, and having that background is great. So we actually created and just got approved the special education minors.
Yeah.
You want to go into it a little bit?
Right. You know, the special education minor is intended for people like you who want to study psychology and special education. You want to know how to work with students with special needs. And so these would be what your options are. You could declare a major in psychology. You could declare a major in educational studies with an emphasis on special needs students. And then you could finish that with an internship. So, you know, we could place you. I just had a student work in a hospital and in Sault Ste. Marie, and she was actually working in occupational therapy. But you could, if we could find a placement for you in regards to working on psychology, then you have that special background. How do we teach students, and how do we manage the special needs of students with special needs? And that is the personal studies with a special needs focus. But more commonly right now, it seems that students are doing the psychology major with a special ed minor. And what that does is it gives special education classes all the way up until student teaching, and then you exit it. So you stay with everyone that is going to be a special ed teacher, and you stay with me every single semester all the way through to your senior year, where educational studies does special education you do that for 12 credits. So if you are interested in coming to campus and talking about that, I mean, you can sit in on a class once we come in the fall. If you are a junior right now, if you're a senior, we hope that we'll see you there, of course. But we will help you explore those options and kind of build a timeline for you in regards to what that will look like and what we can plan for an internship with you.
I have a spreadsheet that I like to use for everything. But that's because I'm
yes,
a neurotic.
you do.
I love a spreadsheet. Peggy knows my spreadsheet.
Well, your spreadsheet actually calculates the number of credits, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we can make anything work. And that actually relates. There are a couple of people who've been asking about things like independent research and what makes psychology different. And they're actually kind of tied together, in my opinion. So we've been talking about how we care about each individual student and how everything that we're doing is for success. I think that's actually one of the reasons why our psychology program and educational studies program, education program as well, is kind of unique, because we do the individualized approach to everything. So when I talk about my spreadsheet, I have one for all of my advisees. I ask them day one, what are you thinking about wanting to do? What are your interests? What do you enjoy? Or what do you really hate? Because at that point, a lot of people just hate things and might not figure out exactly what their interests are, but they know what they potentially want to do and maybe not what they don't want to do. So they go in, we figure out approach. If you want to go into clinical psychology, we say, hey, let's do some internships. Let's do some research. Let's figure out what you need to be in the career that you potentially want. So I have a lot of students who want to go to graduate school, and so we get them in independent research. We set them up with an advisor, one of the faculty members in psychology, whichever one is kind of closest to the field that they're interested in, and they're able to do independent research, not just our own research, but their own research, and come up with their own ideas and be able to run through it. So I have a student who's interested in test anxiety. She is doing a study right now on the different types of tests in terms of timing and how that actually can decrease test scores. So it's all about what your independent interests are, and that's what makes our psychology program so unique, is that personalized attention that we give, which I know is true across campus. It's true for pretty much all of the majors, not pretty much. All of the majors have that personalized attention that we give students.
And they love you and your department. I mean, because we share students now because of what we created together. We have many students that are sitting in your class in the morning and then my class in the evening, and they're able to share that information about. I think do you teach pharmacology?
Yep.
Yep. And so then we hear about different meds and the effects on the brain and so forth, and we can tie all that back into, you know, what is it that a student with special needs, like what are the symptoms and what are the signs and what are the options for this child that of course we would never mention in an IEP, but just so that we have that background knowledge of managing students with special needs in regards to medicine. And so there's so many different connections that we make across across our disciplines, which then takes us back to, what is the value of a liberal arts education? And that is it. So my favorite thing about Alma is that we are friends like that. Like we do care to take the time and to meet with each other and make sure that our students are progressing and that the experience is a positive one. So I see a
That's how we
question
came up with
on.
it.
That's how we came up with it. Yeah, we stood together for a
Yeah.
really long time, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I see a question on, is it hard to be a double major? In those 4 years for education, I have someone that's doing 4 majors. So, and he's going to make it through
Wow.
in 5 years, right? So he's doing special ed, history, social studies, secondary. It's taking 5 years, but he's also the manager of the baseball team. If you're out there, Logan, that's a shout out to you. Um, and he's going to make it through. I mean, it takes a full load to do something like that. Like, I wouldn't recommend more than 2 majors, but that's just kind of proof to you that it can be done. In special education, what I recommend, if they're going to be secondary, that they pick up a math major or minor, or a English major or minor with special education and their secondary degree. So that's a big pile of classes. But Natasha was just talking about the spreadsheets and the student planning system that we use. We will let you know on, as soon as you make your decision on what your major is, what that timeline is going to look like, because not only do you care, your parents care too. They want to know, what does this timeline going to look like for my 18-year-old that is planning on becoming a teacher or planning to study psychology or any other major. So, but we don't stand alone. We are two faces that represent the whole Alma program today. This is a series of Instagram chats, and the more you join, if you are a prospective student, you're going to hear the same theme again and again, is that we love what we do. We are glad to be at a teaching school where we can focus on students and our research, because that's really important too. But you will certainly be treated with white gloves all the way through, from beginning to end. And even as an alumni, I felt that way when I was a student here, and that was, well, I graduated in 92. So you can all do the math. Thank you for the love on that one. Appreciate that. Seeing the hearts come through.
Yeah, I know. I see Jen is saying that my spreadsheets are amazing. So thanks, Jen. I appreciate that. I'm glad you appreciate the spreadsheets and not just think that they're absolutely insane.
Why don't you
But yeah,
exit?
it all depends.
Why don't you exit me out and let Jen join for a little while, then exit out Jen and let Stephanie talk about education for a little bit, and then maybe I'll come back in after that.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Okay, I'm leaving. I hope.
We're all navigating this as we can. So, okay, so Peggy's out. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so we'll go Jen first. Add. Yeah. And Jen was one of my students. She's also, she's been working with Peggy for a while on special education minor as well. So she knows both departments really well. She probably knows both of us. You do have your ears.
Yes,
what Peggy said. Good job.
Yes, I found my ears. They were lost for a little bit, and I actually didn't know where they were, but I spent the last 5 minutes looking for them. But yeah, so is it okay if I just go? Like, is there
Yeah,
certain
just
things
go
I
ahead
talk-
and give a little spiel about what your experience has been like as a student in the department, and both actually working with both of us.
Okay. So my name is Jenny Brandt. I see all the comments that McKinley, Stephanie, and Dr. Yates are saying. Oh, and hi, Katie. Katie's my admissions rep. We both love Disney, so we bonded instantly. But my name is Jenny Brandt. I am a junior at Alma. I am a double major in psychology and education studies, and I have an emphasis in special education with my ed studies. So that just means that I just concentrate on special education. I've known that I wanted to work with special needs students ever since, my brother is actually on the autism spectrum, and I've always been interested in working with students that are special needs, and I've really been interested in the brain ever since when I came to college. I actually was psychology and neuroscience, and then I realized that I didn't want to go as medical and sciencey as neuroscience was, so then I dropped that, And then I wanted to be part of education, but I also didn't want to be a teacher. And so like I was kind of sad, and I realized like, oh man, I can't be a part of education because I thought it was just teachers. But then I really talked to my advisor, who is Dr. Swell, and I met with a couple education professors, and what really amazed me was how much effort they put in towards getting me what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be and what I wanted to like major in. So they would not stop, and they said, we will find an option for you. So then they introduced me to educational studies, which is basically everything about the education field except getting certified as a teacher. So you still learn basically how teachers teach and what makes a good teacher, and you learn about the school systems and how you can get involved, but you just don't get certified as a teacher. And it was a really good option for me because that's like exactly what I wanted, and it was like a dream come true kind of thing, and it was amazing. And so I just finished my last year playing basketball at Alma College. I played for my 3 years, but I'm actually graduating early next year. So unfortunately, I cannot play next year, but I was a student athlete along with being a double major. And I saw that there were questions about how if it's difficult to be a double major. And it's not, because you have these professors and coaches and all kinds of staff and administrative staff that work right with you and right next to you, and they want you to be successful. And that's what I love about Alma the most, is that it is a small community. So you're working closely with all of like the admissions people and the and your coaches and your professors, like I said before, and they want you to be successful, and you are their number one goal, and they want you to leave campus knowing what you're going to do and like going for what you want. So I knew that it was going to be possible with everybody by my side, and that's what makes Alma great. And so I was able to do that. And so now I am happily in my double major, and I plan on getting a semester early next year, thanks to Dr. Swab's prestigious advising and getting me in the classes that I needed. And we sat down one day and we realized that I don't need any more classes, so I can get out a semester early. Not that I want to, because I love Alma so much, and it's going to be really sad to leave, but I'm able to take another step. And actually, speaking of Disney, my number one plan for the second semester is to go into the Disney College program. So there's another dream of mine that came true because of the work that Alma College has done and the people that have been with me. So double majoring in it, this is great fields to go into, but being in like an earlier, somebody asked a question about liberal arts education. The great thing about it being liberal arts education is I've also dabbled into different fields. Like I'm in a philosophy class right now. I took an acting class as a freshman because I had some free spots that Dr. Swab and I worked, and she wanted me to have some classes where I could just explore a different field that I may not even be into. And I've actually ended up loving those kind of things. So experiencing like all those fields and realizing that, and like I'm not even a philosophy student, but my philosophy professor treats me just like all of his philosophy students. And so every professor counts every student and makes sure that they're feeling comfortable and that they're learning as much as they can. And it's really great. So these are really good departments to go into, and I highly recommend it. And both psychology and ed studies, it's opened me up to so many options. And I just know I want to work with kids, and I want to work with how kids are thinking and how kids like perform in the schools and stuff like that. So I want to become an educational psychologist. I plan to get my PhD in educational psychology. So I plan on going to grad school after whatever I do for my second semester. I plan on entering grad school, and then I hope to get my PhD in about 4 to 5 years. And both Dr. Swalve and Dr. Yates have been also like, they don't plan on just stopping after I graduate. They're helping me with programs post-graduation, and they're wanting me to get into the grad school. So they are opening their arms to helping me apply for grad school, how to sign up for the GRE, which I'm taking this summer, and how to study for it. And they're providing resources for me, so I'm not alone on this. And because that's one thing I know parents out there for their kids going to college, they don't want their kid to be alone. they're disconnected from their kid, and it's really hard. And going to Alma, I know my mom, if she could come up right here and say she knows that she's really comfortable with me being on campus because she knows that I'm being taken care of and I'm getting the help I need that she might not be able to provide for me. So that's about it. The spring term that Dr. Yates is doing at Disney, it's amazing. I'm actually wearing one of the shirts too that we got with them. So
Representing.
I know. And I didn't even know I was going on this call until like an hour ago. So that's cool. But yeah, the spring term is absolutely amazing. There were even non-education majors. So again, that's spreading out your knowledge into other majors other than your own. And we had a blast, and it was a great opportunity, and it was something I've always wanted to do since a kid. So yeah, another dream come true because of Alma College. So I love it. It's a great thing to do, and these are amazing programs and amazing people. So any prospective students, you have a great choice on your list of choices.
Thank you. So nice. You guys are so nice. Thanks, Jen. We really appreciate you stopping in and talking. I think we're going to talk to Steph too for a second. I don't know how to switch over, so I think you might have to end your call, but I
have to end on okay. All right. Well, thank you for letting me come on.
Thank you. I'll see you soonish. So you'll probably be getting emails from me in the next couple of weeks as usual. So.
Right. And if any prospective students on here, my Instagram handle should be where I commented. It's jen_k53. And if any students just have questions that they want to ask a student directly, you can always direct message me here on Instagram, and I'm happy to help and answer any questions you have. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, so now we'll see if I can manage to add, I believe it was Steph. See if we can add Steph to the call. And then I don't have a join request from Steph. So potentially go back to Peggy. Peggy, can you come back on the call? Can you send another join request? She has all sorts of information about being a secondary and history major as well, which I know nothing about. I know a lot about sociology, a lot about sociology. We have quite a few students who are able to do both psychology and sociology. That's kind of our most popular double major that we have. My video is see if this is going to work. Hopefully this is still working. We'll add Peggy back into the conversation, and we are still trying to hear any other comments about anything. I will continue to talk. And so I mentioned that psychology and sociology is popular. We also have double majors that are relatively popular, like art and psychology and music and psychology, because people come in being therapists. So they come in being interested in doing things like being an art therapist or a music therapist, where they actually can help people with different psychiatric disorders deal with things like listening to music, playing music, doing therapy through art. Aha! I think we have Steph. Okay, let's try adding Peggy back in. I try to add Steph, but for some reason it says that you're unable to try to reconnect with. There we go. Peggy, you are on there as far as I can tell.
Okay, I don't know if we're having some internet problems on our combined ends, or if it's me. Stephanie, are you there? Stephanie Davis, send us something in the chat. So talking about education as well.
Yeah, I think you might. I think I saw a join request, so if you want to pop out and then we can have her pop
I will
in,
exit out again.
that would...
Absolutely.
We will make this work. Okay, so it still shows everything is live. So I see Steph down there. If you want to send another, oh wait, I can add you this way. Okay, here we go. It should be joining now, and so we should be able to hear from Steph in terms of the education side. Aha! There we go.
Hi. It worked. Okay, so I guess I'll just start. I'm Stephanie Davis. I'm a junior at Alma, finishing my junior year, starting senior year. So I'm a double major in elementary and special education. I knew coming into Alma that like I wanted to do education, I wanted to do special education, and like this was the school for me. I was able to go to admissions events and like sit in at a mock classroom when I was a senior in high school, and that just like reassured me that like Alma was the school for me. Instantly I could tell that the professors like actually cared about like getting their students to love what they're doing. Like it was just an overall amazing experience, and being at Alma the past 3 years has definitely like allowed me to explore clubs, sports, double major. It is a big credit load. I had to take 16 to 18 credits a semester, but it's so doable with the help you have at Alma and the support and just the faculty around you. What else? Okay. Special education, our family there, that is amazing. So I've had the same people through in my classes for 3 years. We've lost a few on the way, but like we are such a big family. And like our motto is like, if not me, then who? And that just like speaks volumes about our motto for life and what we want to be as teachers. And it is shown in all the education classes, not just special ed, but elementary. And I know my friends in secondary feel the same way about their teachers in the program, that like we are all in it together. So yeah.
What was your favorite class you've taken so far?
Definitely the spring term, because you know
I probably shouldn't have asked.
It was amazing.
I can't even imagine a class that would be better than that, but
it was even beyond a class and a family. I don't even know how to explain. All of us are still so close, and we still have a Snapchat group chat with Dr. Yates and everyone who went on it, and we just are still there supporting each other. Even like now, some were seniors last year or even finishing their student teaching and are like actual teachers, and like still talk in there and send us motivation videos and just like helpful links of becoming like a better teacher. And it's just amazing. Like that was the best experience I could have ever received. And unlike Jen, I was not a Disney crazy person. I was just sure, Disney, like, but the leadership program and the Disney Yes program that we did and everything just made it magical. Like it is, there's no words to describe like how awesome that trip was.
Are you a Disney convert now?
Yes. I want to go back for sure and do more Disney Yes programs, and even like look into like the Disney college program, because it's just wow, it was great. I know someone asked about like, is it hard being a double major? And I wouldn't say it is, because I'm able to do so much at Alma I'm in clubs, have positions in clubs, I do year-round sports, I'm in swimming, cross country and track, and I'm still able to, a lot of my semesters have had full credit loads of 18, and I have like a good GPA. I'm doing well in my classes and just kind of thriving, and Alma has really made it like an option. Like I never thought I could do all these things at college and succeed in my education, and I have. And the opportunities after and the connections that we have with staff and then alumni,
It's great and it's awesome. Was an awesome choice.
See, we love when you say things like that.
And they're not paying us, I promise. We're just saying this all honestly.
We promise.
I don't know if Dr. Yates wants to come back on.
Yeah, should we send it back to Dr. Yates then?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, also, if anyone wants to like DM me like questions, just talk to the student. I'm always open, and I love to talk about Alma. So don't be shy. Bye.
Thanks, Stephanie. Okay, so while that's ending, hopefully Peggy can now join back. I think you might have to send another join request. And then hopefully this will not somehow be paused again, but we will make this work. So in terms of psychology, ooh, here we go, Peggy. While I'm waiting for join, I can talk a little bit about double majors in psych. We have a lot of students who double major in psych and soc, psych and art, psych and music is a popular one to do therapy. We have double majors in everything. Like Peggy was saying, you have a quadruple major. I have a triple major in a psych, dance, and communications. And I have to love that. It's a variety of different topics and they all interact with one another. She does kind of like the dance aspects of psychology. It's fascinating. So.
Yeah, you can really take on an awful lot and feel supported. But, we also want you to enjoy your time at Alma. So having 4 majors is a little over the top. 3 that's pushing it. So
still a little over the top.
Right. We want you to enjoy your time, but we want you to know, the reason that we're coming to you today live is we want you to know that you're going to feel supported. If you come to Alma, we're going to take good care of you, when you're leaving home for the first time and leaving your parents behind and choosing a residential school like Alma. You're going to make some friends. You're going to be very involved and you're going to be very busy. And when you graduate, and I want you to imagine for a moment that I get a reference check call on you for a job, like let's say, at a bigwig school or, at wherever you have put me on down as your reference. And they call and they say, can you tell me about this student? I guarantee you I'm going to be able to tell you every detail and probably the name of your dog too. As compared to a great big school that they may not know you quite as well. I mean, that's why I choose Alma, because I want to know my kids like Jen and Steph, and that's why they were invited here today, because they really represent people that they came across our path, they ended up in our office, and we got a chance to make a difference. And that's why Natasha and I come to work every day to make sure that we are preparing the next generation of college graduates for the best they can be. So they're the leaders, and they are the people who are going to take charge when, well, I'm 50, so I need you to take charge, Steph and Jen, and because it's not going to be me forever. But I'll take my time at Alma and enjoy, and I'll wear my Mickey ears too.
Have you seen any last questions or?
I have not seen any questions that we didn't answer. Katie, if there's a question that we didn't answer, if you want to text that to me and we'll get to that.
And we can always
and a shout out to the Puff Path family.
I'm always available to answer any sort of emails. I am kind of bored right now. I am stuck in my house. I have my dogs to keep me company, and we just got chickens, so I have those. But I'm always willing to answer any and all questions. So. Oh, Lenny has one. I'm just gonna impatiently. What are your favorite classes to teach? That's a great question. I have psychopharm on my brain right now. I teach a psychopharmacology class, which is about drugs of abuse, and I'm teaching it as a spring term. And so that is probably one of my favorite classes, just due to the fact that I get to teach a subject that obviously I love. That's what I do my research on. That's what I care about. However, I teach a first-year seminar for incoming freshmen, and it's called Astrology to Zombies, and it's about pseudoscience. And that is probably my penultimate is the second ultimate, the ultimate favorite class to teach, because I get to do like psychic readings. We get to practice cold reads. We get to try out ESP. We get to do all of those things to talk about how critical thinking works and how we should examine sources. So that is probably my favorite class. I get to meet everyone who's coming in. I get to help you figure out your college experience, be less terrified about what's going on, teach you how to register, teach you how to study, all of those things, which are oddly my favorite things to teach about. How about you, Peggy?
Well, my favorite class to teach is called Transitions, go figure, because that's what you're teaching all about, is teaching kids how to manage their lives as they come and live on their own. But the class that I teach is called Transitions, and during the class, what we do is we work with students with special needs to teach them transition skills. And so we actually work with a group of students throughout the course of a year, and they come to campus 8 different times during the year, and we get to teach them social, emotional, and coping skills, and transition types of skills, meaning like how to budget a check, or how to budget your money, and how to do laundry, and how to cook. And these are things that you would use in secondary special education classes, because that is a part of the special education law, that we teach kids how to plan for their post-secondary experience and what's going to happen after they graduate from high school. But because of the experiential learning that's embedded in that class, and because we get to work hands-on with students and they come to campus on Monday nights, it makes a big difference in being able to make a difference right here in Gratiot County with kids that really might need some help.
And there's a lot of those aspects too, those kind of community engagement things. So I do a lot of work in my psychopharm class where I actually have students design educational programs for or on drugs of abuse to be taught in schools, design kind of public service announcements for those type of things. So we try to do a lot of community aspects to it. So I'm glad you do that in your department too.
Yeah. Well, I sit outside, Natasha, today because my 4 children are now home. 2 college-age kids here. I have a house full and a great big grocery bill to go with it. But it's really been a lot of fun to do this with you today. And we've been on now for like 46 minutes. So if there are there any more questions? We're glad to stay on. Please also follow me on Instagram.
I do not have an Instagram. I'm not hip enough for that. So.
I only post college stuff on my
not.
Instagram. So you get to know me a little bit personally, but I post most of my professional stuff on Instagram. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, we're ready to wrap it up.
It was nice seeing you pop up on the screen. And thank you for coming. And we will post this if you have any other questions. But feel free to send us emails to reach out. And it was great being here.
We'll see you soon, Tasha.
You too.